Hello, and welcome to the newest episode of History with Jackson's Dictator series. So, in today's episode, we will be looking at the Kim dynasty in North Korea and how the Kim dynasty satisfied the 6 criteria that we've been looking at in the previous few weeks. Number 1 is an official state ideology with a body of doctrine to support it. The official ideology of North Korea is Juche, or Kim Il-sungism, Kim Jong-ilism. This ideology puts North Korea first, prioritises national independence or reunification with the South, and self-reliance, economically, culturally, and in all ways. The body of doctrine for this book is Kim Jong-il on the Juche idea. This is the most authoritative book on Juche, or the ideology of the state. This is because most of the ideological pieces of work have been in speeches by the leaders or in articles. Number 2 is a single mass party with around or less than 10% of the nation's population as members. The only party in North Korea that is constitutionally allowed to take power is the Korean Workers' Party. As of 2015, this party had 4 million members out of a national population at the time of 25 million. However, it's important to note that North Korea gives a front that it is a democratic nation. Therefore, there are minor parties, and there have been in the past as well, that give the front of democracy, but they are in union with the Korean Workers' Party and democratically and constitutionally are not allowed to take power. Number 3 is a system of terror enacted arbitrarily against enemies of the regime in a physical or a psychological way. North Korea is a country that is famous for its system of terror. The regime routinely executes party and government members for unpopular or unsuccessful policies. The North Korean regime maintains a system of prison and concentration camps across the country. Inside these prison camps, you will find political criminals or dissidents, ordinary criminals and their family members, ineffectual, lazy and antisocial workers. These prisoners face torture, enforced labour, ideological training to maintain compliance upon their release, and sexual violence. Rummel estimates that around 3 million people have died as a result of North Korean terror. Number 4 is a monopoly on communications and information. The North Korean National Security Agency monitors all its citizens and all forms of communication across the country. The National Censorship Committee monitors all forms of information and communication across the country through centrally owned and operated broadcast and news outlets such as newspapers, TVs and radios. This ensures that there is conformity across information going out to the people. Also, North Korean citizens are required once a week to go to an ideological compliance meeting. Within these meetings, they criticise themselves and inform the authorities of moments where they weren't ideologically compliant, but they also inform the agencies and authorities about their neighbours, families and friends. Number 5 is a monopoly on arms. As a strong military-first country, the monopoly of arms has always been prevalent. However, in 2009, the regime imposed new laws which further restricted gun ownership. Gun ownership was only to be used for primary purposes, such as the execution of official duties such as guarding and training. Also, the laws maintained that institutions, businesses and the public could not own or operate firearms. Number 6 is economic centralisation. Like all other communist regimes, the North Korean regime has undergone economic planning through 4, 5 and 7 year plans. These plans set out priorities and goals for the economy to achieve. Furthermore, they have also established economic free zones where foreign businesses can invest in companies to ensure the flow of foreign money into North Korea so that they could raise capital. However, much of the money from the North Korean economy is funneled into their nuclear and military programs. So thank you for watching this episode on the Kim dynasty and how they fulfill the criteria. I really enjoyed researching this episode. I love reading about North Korea and learning about it as well, because it's a place where you don't really hear a lot of information, and it's very shrouded in mystery because it's isolated. Now, as always, I want to recommend a couple of books that I used to research for this episode. So firstly, I've already spoke about this in one of my videos. It's Under the Loving Care of the Fatherly Leader by Bradley K. Martin. I will link my book review to this book at the end of the video. I think this book is absolutely fantastic. It's quite difficult to get into once you get into it. But once you get into it, yeah, it's absolutely fantastic and really, really easy to read. I found that it gave me a lot of information about North Korea that I'd never heard of before, I'd never read online before. Hence the plethora of sticky tabs. So yeah, I really recommend this book, and the links to this book will be in the description below so you can get it yourself. And secondly, The Black Book of Communism, Crimes, Terror and Repression. This book, I think I've already mentioned it before, is really, really great. It's got a chapter on almost every communist regime and their crime, terrorism, repression and so on. It's really easy to read. The different chapters are all written by different academics who are an expert in that nation. Once again, the link for that book will be in the description too. Next week is our final episode in this series of the Dictators series. There will be another one at a later date. And next week we'll be looking at Mussolini and how he fulfills the 6 criteria. Please don't be disappointed that the series is ending. There will be more. Just the end of the series will give me the opportunity to look at other things and teach you guys about other things as well, other than dictators. So if you're enjoying these series, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. And I look forward to seeing you guys next week.